Hello guys, it is Brittany here and welcome back to my color guard YouTube channel. Today I have another flag tossing tutorial for you guys. If you are interested in learning how to do a Cradle 45 or a Rainbow 45 as they're sometimes called, keep watching this video to find out how to do that. Okay, my first big tip I can give you guys on how to get your Cradle 45 faster is make sure you know how to do a regular single and a half first. Why I say that is even though we have a different setup and a different release, it's still going to be a variation on the regular single and a half 45. As someone who learned the Cradle first, I can tell you it takes you much longer than it probably should for you to learn the Cradle 45 if you don't have that foundation of the regular single and a half first. But if you already have your regular single and a half 45 and want to know how to do the Cradle, let's get into it. Okay, tip number one. How we start with our Cradle 45 is we're going to start in a position called a cradle. If you don't know what that looks like, I'll show you now. You're going to take your right arm, you're going to have your flag down on your left side, you're going to put your arm underneath your flag so that way the pole is touching the inside of your elbow. Your right hand's going to be palm up to the sky, and you're just going to grab your flag like this. Your thumb will kind of just rest on top. I just leave my free hand on my flag next to my other hand just because it makes my life a little easier and I don't have to think about what my left hand is doing so much. From here, I'm going to open up and I'm going to do a big lunge, which is what I do personally because it kind of helps gather that momentum, makes you feel a little more dramatic. So from here, I'm going to open up and draw one big circle with my right arm. My left arm's just going to mimic. So open, around, back to where I started. Main thing we do not want to do is we don't want to bring the pole in front because then it's just going to get stuck. You want to allow the pole to come up and then go behind your back and then continue back to the front, so that way we don't have any breaks or mess up in our setup. So continuing on from there, we're going to use that circle. I'm gonna lunge to my right, and I'm gonna keep passing through where we started, but I'm not gonna stop back here. I'm gonna keep going, lift my flag up, so it gets to kind of this angle. Biggest thing we don't wanna do from here is I don't want to toss my hand to its next position. I wanna think more of just changing my hand position. It's not a toss. Main thing we want to think about. So when I'm here, I'm going to go up, I'm going to hold my flag just so you can see, and I'm going to flip my right hand from here, thumb up, and I'm going to go thumbs down to the middle of my flag. Okay? If you have two tapes on your flag, it would be thumbs down directly in between. If you don't have tapes like my flag, it would be directly in the middle of your pole. Okay? So we're going to blend that into our cradle setup so that way we can get to where basically we're going to release our toss from. So I start here and I go open, down, up, switch. See, mainly I want to switch and not toss. Main thing, science is not on your side. If you have your flag high up already, think like if you're trying to toss a tennis ball like this versus your arm is already straight and you try to toss it even higher. One's a lot harder than the other, thanks to science. So we want to think with the setup in our toss, have our flag already a lot lower because it's a lot easier for it to go low to high for the release versus the opposite. Okay, what I mean by that is from here, we don't want to go toss and then I'm already super high up on my body. It's going to be so much harder to toss from here. When I do this toss, I like to think about my right hand being almost past my waist because that gives me a nice low starting point. So I'm here and I go open and switch. And I'm nice and low on my body, all the way by my hip, not by my shoulder, because it's gonna make my life a lot harder. From here, if you've seen any of my other videos, you should know, with all 45s, we pass through flat first, okay? Anytime you do any kind of 45 choreography, toss, you have to pass through flat first. Otherwise, two things can happen. It puts you more at risk to hurt yourself, and also if you're doing this in choreography, it's never going to be clean because you're on a separate plane than everyone else. So those are two big reasons we always want to pass through flat, okay? What I mean by that is when I grab here, my flag's gonna go down in my toaster, so straight to the floor. I'm gonna keep it going in that same plane, and I'm gonna turn my body to the back, and I'm going to pass through this flat here, and I'm gonna pull my flag at its 45 release point like I would for any other 45 toss. All right, so now that we've talked about how to get to our release point, we're gonna get to how we release the toss in its different forms. Like I mentioned earlier, the true Cradle 45 is usually going to be a single and a half with a one-handed release, but if you're a little newer to this toss, I'm gonna show you how to do a single rotation, the single and a half, and also the variation with two hands if you're a little newer to this toss and the one-handed version just a little too scary for you to start with. Okay, let's get into those toss variations. 5, 6, 7, 8, open, grab, out, and catch. And 6, and 5, 6, 7, 8, open, grab, out, and catch. And 5, 6, 7, 8, open, grab, out, and catch. And 5, and 6, and 5, 6, 7, 8, open, grab, out, and catch. Alright guys, that is going to do it for today's video. Remember, if you have any suggestions for future videos or things that you are struggling on, I would love to help you guys out. So please feel free to leave a comment of anything I can help you with. And if you have any questions about anything I talked about in this video, also feel free to leave a comment. That's all for me. Keep spinning. Have a great day. Bye.